Hey everyone, welcome to, I was going to say Hope Essential. Welcome to Holistic Lifestyle Tips, getting real about the woo-woo. And I am Becky Russell, owner of wellness company Hope Essential. I didn't get enough sleep last night, so I'm a little loopy today. Um, just wanted to thank you for joining me. And I am so excited to talk about tonight's subject because it's sort of apropos for today with my brain not working too well. We're going to get a little bit woo-woo tonight, so just be warned. But it'll be okay. So I formed this idea about holistic tips because I think a lot of people don't even know what holistic means and what an amazing positive effect it can have on your life. And I feel like I'm sort of a poster child, or I guess poster senior, for the benefits of holistic living because I was not blessed with good genes. And if you just look at numbers and statistics, I would have been a type 2 diabetic 20 years ago and dealing with it now. So I am not on any daily medications or prescriptions, and I think that has a lot to do with my holistic approach to wellness. So I am now a holistic lifestyle educator. That means I believe in treating the entire body, mind, body, and soul from the inside out. And I'm also a essential oil educator because the two things just go hand in hand. The fewer chemicals you put on and in your body, the better your chances of having a quality of life as you age. And that's my whole mission, is to help people achieve that. And I want it for me, I want it for you. And just treating symptoms with medications and chemicals and so forth is not going to get us that. Medication has its place. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it needs, a lot of times it's the first thing we go to instead of the last. And unless it's a life or death situation or very serious, I think it's a good idea to look at other options. So tonight, we're going to talk about emotional wellness. I try to alternate between physical, spiritual, and emotional wellness every week. And in particular, we are going to talk about, it's sort of a cute title. I got this from a article online, and it's called The Amygdala Hijack When Emotion Takes Over. And just probably need to give a definition. Do you know what the amygdala is? Because I knew it sounded familiar to me when I came across this. And I thought it had something to do with the brain, but I wasn't real sure, high school biology. But basically, what it's the definition of amygdala, it's a collection of cells near the base of the brain. There are two, one in each hemisphere of the brain, and this is where emotions are given meaning, remembered, and attached to associations and responses to them, emotional responses. The amygdala is considered to be part of the brain's limbic system. It's a key to how you process strong emotions like fears and pleasure. And this, if you remember the episode about emotional aromatherapy, we talk about that there. That's why the sense of smell is so powerful when it's linked to a memory like that. So fight or flight is part of this whole thing. When we were all cavemen, that fight or flight response was super important. It's what kept us alive. And they had to react quickly at the sign of danger. And so when you feel threatened and afraid, the amygdala automatically activates the fight or flight response by sending out signals to release stress hormones that prepare your body to fight or run away. And this is triggered by emotions like fear, anxiety, aggression, and anger. Now, the frontal lobes are the two large areas at the front of your brain, and they're part of the cerebral cortex, which is a newer, rational, and more advanced brain system. This is where thinking, reasoning, decision-making, and planning happen. Now, maybe this is too much science for you or something, but it's really important to understand how this works. The front lobes allow you to process and think about your emotions. You can then manage them and have a logical response. Unlike the amygdala, those are automatic responses, and you're controlled by them, whereas the frontal lobes, you control. When you sense danger is present, the amygdala wants to automatically activate that fight or flight response. But at the same time, your frontal lobes are processing the information to determine if it's a true danger or not, and then what is the most logical response. So a good example of this is road rage. Typically, if someone cuts you off on the highway, it's irritating, it's it can make you a little mad, but you're not going to hopefully let it ruin your whole day or have an overreactive response of road rage, where for some minor offense, you're ready to ram their car, right? So unfortunately, we have seen this happen, and why that phrase is everyone knows what it means. A minor thing, people have they draw a gun. That's a very illogical reaction. So this is really important because we see a lot of these days where people aren't in control. So let's see. When the threat is mild or moderate, the frontal lobes kick in and they override the amygdala, and you respond in a rational way. But when the threat is strong, the amygdala acts quickly and it may overpower the frontal lobes. The fight or flight response was appropriate back in the caveman days, but today we don't have those life or death situations as often, and hopefully very often at all. But there are a lot of psychological stressors that are in modern day life, right? So when stress makes you feel strong anger, aggression, or fear, the fight or flight response is activated. And it often results in sudden, illogical, and irrational overreaction to a situation like road rage. And you may regret your actions later because you're like, you don't know what came over you, right? A psychologist named Daniel Goleman called this overreaction to stress amygdala hijack. And he has a book, it was published in 1995, called Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ. That's another whole series, but that is, if you ever want to check that out, that's a good resource on this article. So what are the symptoms of an amygdala hijack? Well, we talked about the two stressors, cortisol, or stress hormones that are released, cortisol and adrenaline. And so if you've heard me talk about blood sugar, which I do a lot, because that's part of the genetic thing for me, the cortisol can really affect your blood sugar levels. So if you are fighting, the unbalanced blood sugar issue, and you don't have control of this fight or flight response, that's going to be a real problem. So it's very important to understand what's happening here. So your airways are relaxed so that you can take in more oxygen, and then you have increased blood flow to your muscles so you can run, have more strength and speed. The increase in your blood sugar for more energy, and then you dilate your pupils to enhance your vision. So these are all good if the threat is real. But if it's not, this is an overreaction. And so you'll feel the rapid heartbeat, the sweaty palms, the goosebumps, the hair on the back of your neck, right? So those are the symptoms. You sort of know it's coming on. But how can you stop the amygdala hijack from happening? Well, you can you first have to acknowledge what's going on, why you're feeling threatened, and become aware of your emotions and how your body is reacting to that stress. And then you can review what happened. Normally your carried away and you're not going to be able to stop it in the middle of it, but you can review what's going on later. And then, of course, once you sense that you're out of control, you need to try and calm down. And that's a lot of times they tell you to focus on your breathing. Just take deep breaths and focus on inhaling and exhaling to just get your mind out of it. And the other thing is to practice mindfulness, which is part of that process, sorry, of, you know, trying to calm your brain. So anything that causes this stress, anything that triggers this, you need to make note of so that you can sort of plan ahead for. Mindfulness, I still have a struggle with this. I really work on this, but I have the monkey brain, squirrel brain, whatever you want to call it, where it's all over the place when I'm trying to focus on a meditation, but I'm trying, not giving up. But that's something that takes practice, right? It's not gonna, you're not gonna immediately have this sense of calm. The other thing you can do is the breathing, which we mentioned, really focus on that, but that also is not enough sometimes. So I want to bring up something else that you may have never heard of, and it's called the amygdala connection technique. And I've had it done. I would have it done every month or more if I could afford it, because it's so calming. And this world is full of stress, and I'm not necessarily stressed, but I have an overactive brain, and it's just working all the time. And so it's not necessarily fight or flight, but it's just on too often, too much. So the amygdala connection technique is where the thought is, you know, everything is energy. And when you have a trauma, that energy, the trauma from that memory gets stuck in your, you know, limbic system or a muscle or something. And so it has to be released somehow. And so myofascial release massages help release it from the tissues and such. And then the amygdala connection technique helps remove it from the amygdala. So it can help with patterns that you're sort of stuck in your brain with the PTSD or depression or insomnia, or you know, anxiety, panic attacks. These stuck patterns seem to trigger the body to defend itself, just like it's that fight or flight thing. And it tightens up the dural tube and causes restrictions within the central nervous system, and that causes every other health concern to be worse. So the beauty of the amygdala connection technique is that it takes maybe 16 to 40 minutes, sometimes longer, depending on what your body needs. Everyone's different, and it probably depends on the practitioner as well. And the patient's body is touched very lightly, and the patient typically falls asleep during the session. Not me. I live for the day when that happens, because I'll know I'm truly accepting or have given up that control or something. But I don't fall asleep. My brain is still twirling. I do, though, get benefit from it, because even though I don't fall asleep, there are certain periods during that session where I am almost drifting off. And whatever she's doing, Kathy Eason is who I go to, whatever she's doing on her end is truly calming my brain. And I am not going to pretend to know exactly how this all works, but it does. So the result is you leave there with just feeling an overall calmness and relaxed. And you notice too, you sleep better. And also things that normally would maybe put you on edge or have you overreact a little bit, don't. You're just calmer overall. And you're not sleepwalking through life. It just calms those reactions. And So I also think, in addition to the amygdala technique, connection technique, don't forget about emotional aromatherapy with the essential oils as well. And if you want to go back and um, check that episode or any other, I now have my videos on all the episodes on my website, hopeessential.com, along with other education about essential oils and other holistic modalities. So what do you think? Is this too far out there? Is it something you might want to research a little bit more? Um, I don't have time, even if I knew the science behind it all, I don't have time to go into it here. But I at least want to, the point of this series isn't to educate you to the point where you know everything. It's to point you in a direction to do your own research, because I'm not, don't just take my word for everything. I don't do that for anybody. Do your own research, find out what you think might help you. But I hope with these episodes that you're maybe opening your mind to other options that maybe you didn't know existed. So the amygdala connection technique is something that can truly help you if you feel that you're emotionally stuck in some pattern where your brain, you're overreacting to things, you're in that fight or flight response all the time, and or just too often. So it's something that can be helpful right now. And counseling is awesome. um, Talking to a good friend, getting physically active, all those things help, but it's not going to be as immediate as this could be. And so I want everyone to know it exists and would love for you to research it and see if it might be helpful to you. So be sure and like my Facebook page, Hope Essential LLC. And I would love to hear in the comments below if you learned anything, if you think it might be something you are interested in and want to learn more about. With Google, you can find out anything. So leave a comment below. And till next time, choose you, choose natural, choose now.